All right, ladies and gentlemen, traders, welcome back to another Relentless recap. In this one, I'll be showing you all of the trades I took today and how I lost 1.6k. A little bit of a disappointing day to end the month, but all in all, we did follow our rules. We just got caught in a little bit of chop, and that was about it. So before we jump into it, just remember to take a look at the disclaimer. Remember that day trading is risky business. A lot of people are having a hard time, so take it slow. Remember that copy trading does not work. And lastly, I do not invest for my subscribers. All right. With that being said, let's jump into it. So, as usual, every day started off with me checking out my beautiful Momo Pro scanner here. And I was able to compile my watch list fairly early, about 8:50 a.m. I was able to determine the strong stocks and list them all together. And so by the time I was done creating my watch list, I had a couple of stocks here in, let's pull it up. I had a couple of stocks in AMIX, EFSH, AVTE, and TNON. So let's go through this list here. Let's take a look at AMIX. And I think we'll actually do split screen. I think I like the split screen look here. So AMIX in pre-market went from a low of 10.48 to a high of 21.51. Absolute beast of a move. And from there we pulled back. It pulled back and we ended up basing out down here around 12.87. We gained a little bit of volume in pre-market around 9.10. It did push up to 15. And so coming into the open, we thought this thing was coming alive. And so the idea was going to be, can we break out of this consolidation and then eventually curl up, right? So you'll see there's a bit of a sideways trend that we had here, and I'll mark it out on screen. The goal was, can we break out of this sideways consolidation here and get a beautiful move going up? Sadly, we had instead a false breakout over the pre-market high and then a terrible, awful rejection back down, of which I did get caught trying to buy a baby pullback below the highs right here. So we pushed up within the candle, it pulled back. I thought we were holding up the pre-market highs. I'm in right here, thinking we're going to bounce back to highs and new highs. Instead, the stock just continues, and I take a decent loss. So initially for me, this one, a little tricky, but I looking back at it, I do like that we had this bit of a base right here. I was, though, trying to look at 3 different stocks to see which one would be strong right out of the gates. And I think that did cost me a little bit in terms of getting a bit of a double bottom entry here at 1440, 1460 for the move back up. We'll look at a little bit of archives here in a sec. That was AMIX. So we ended up here being down about 1K. We did get a small resumption bounce on this candle here that helped us to reduce the deficit by about 300 bucks or maybe 350, somewhere there. So moving on, next stock, EFSH. EFSH. EFSH were red, 60 bucks. As you guys can see, this thing really made a massive move just a few days ago. And today we're getting the bit of a, dead cat bounce, curl back up kind of thing. And initially it started off in after hours on Friday, or excuse me, yesterday, and then pushed up. So from 37, we got up to 94, pretty solid move. From there, we started to consolidate and pull back. And so, similar to the other stock coming into the open, we really wanted to see a break of the pre-market highs and the high of day that we set intraday to then trend upwards. But this one never really got out of this range and ended up selling off. Again, another example as to why short sellers do make good money. AMIX, from start to finish, from 22 down here, and granted this one didn't really sell all the way off, but still from the highs, 22. EFSH from highs of 94 in pre-market, really hitting bottoms at 48 here. I think we took just a few trades. Let's pull it up on the show trades. I can't remember exactly where I got in. Let's just pull it up here. So attempting the 1 minute candle to curl up and make the new high. Uh, let's see, we had 68, high of just 70, 91. So about a 2 cent range in there. You guys can see that I got in 69.43 average and out at 69. Didn't really make anything over the few trades that I took, or it might have been just one trade really, and that was it. And that was it for this one. So not much there. And again, I thrive on the uptrend, which we didn't really see too much of today besides BFRI, which we'll get into here at the end. Moving on to AVTE. Also a small loss here. This one, we did have a trend up early. Well, really like one candle of a trend, but then it pulled back. And then again, red to green. But again, looking at different stocks, trying to determine which one is the strong one, it never really broke out of this range. Granted, there was a bit of a double bottom break and reclaim entry down here. But I can only get this trade if I'm watching at this stock specifically. Watching at a combination of stocks, collection of stocks, a whole watch list, trying to go through. Wasn't really able to see these moves happening. Sometimes part of the deal here. Opportunity will cost. So TIANAN, we lost a small amount here. I believe just one trade. So this one I attempted a dip. Let's see. It was on one of these two bigger red candles right here. So we attempted a dip. So we got up to a high of 410. I got long at 92, looking for the bounce back to 4. It just kept dipping. We dipped down to 85. And, looking back at it, we had lows of 82. Again, I think this is the type of thing I can catch if I'm really watching at one stock, which is why sometimes a lot of people will say, hey, avoid the side stocks. But sometimes right away into the open, you're trying to see which one is going to hold up. And this one just wasn't the one, right? I mean, it's below VWAP. It's another thing to consider here. Maybe to be just word left, leaving alone. And I didn't mark out my levels here and pay super close attention to the lows at 82. Maybe that could have provided me a better chance, right? Waiting for a little bit of a lower pullback perhaps. And we got, again, 85 to then jump in. And the bounce ended up going to a high of 401. And then after a 1 minute pullback right here, 405. So it's like right idea, trying to aim for the bottom here, but got to draw out my levels to get a bit more of a bigger picture painted and try to have better accuracy. But another stock, again, showing why short sellers can make money. Pre-market, we're up here at 460s. And at the end of the day, we're at 376. Didn't sell off a ton, but, at least still sold off a little bit. And then lastly, BFRI, which was actually the strongest stock of the day here, that I rage quitted on. So you can see that I didn't really trade a lot of the uptrend. And I think having a shorter fuse today, I think definitely cost me on this stock, because I could have done well if I was watching at it. Especially break of 2 was pretty textbook. Was it over here? Break of 2, it was over here. Break of 2 right here was pretty textbook of a trade. But I was frustrated, man. We also had, I think, a double bottom along this consolidation. So highs were at 187, the absolute low of the pullback 159. I would not have been super aggressive towards this trade, I don't think. But it did reclaim here. This setup, high of 90, so it's a long consolidation and a double bottom of 72. Low of this candle here, 73. So about a 1 cent difference, essentially a double bottom. And I think this is more so the trade where I could have been paying attention to jumping in and then coming back out. Not as the consolidation is breaking down, but as we're consolidating, if we're having obvious bottoms I could be in. And then, sell higher into the move, set myself up for the break of 2, which was pretty clean. We also held above 2 and then continued to 216. So, initially, this thing was a little grindy. Just a little, we're just sideways here. We had a high of 150, a low of 123, and when I pulled up the stock, I believe I first saw it at 23, but I'm now getting my bearings, so I wasn't able to quite jump in there at that level. I think my first couple of orders came at 26. Um, let's see, we got to a high of 36, but we can really and truly just pull up the archive here. Let's pull it up. Let's pull up the archives. This is where I'll jump into full screen. We can also take a look at that AMIX. And I kind of got a little aggressive here on this one with size. Right here I was aiming for this particular entry here. I'm aiming for the break of high of day, but this one was really best to just be in on the lower entry pullbacks. So after bottoming at 43 right here, utilizing that as risk and then trying to get back in. But again, as you can see, I was a little all over the place trying to figure out which stock is going to be the one and not just paying attention to just one stock. So that definitely cost me a little bit. We read here, we got a decent trade. I believe this was let's see, was this the VWAP hold? We pulled back a little bit. And you can see it, there's a bit of a spread here. I take it right above 50 in the spreads. And I'm watching for us to reclaim VWAP with a tight stop. And we do get the nice push here coming up to 12. And so I start to look to get back in. And there's also a 10,000 share bid right here. And high of day on this first candle was at 23. So right here, I'm thinking this thing might just take off. So I jump back in, and you can see I'm pretty late. I'm pretty late. I should have already been in, just in case if it would have maybe took off. I could have gotten a higher fill if I wasn't, So got to be a little faster right there. But jumped in, sold, saw that the bid was still bidding, and kind of bought back. But the shares are going to get filled, and we're going to stop out right there at 90. So that was one of our bigger losses. But I think, ultimately it's the right idea to try to be aggressive there. And I think actually watching back at this, what really happened is that I was increasing my share size a little bit. And I might have missed the bid being there the first time. But because it was holding 16, I was looking to get back in. I think that's what happened. It was holding 16. I'm looking to get back in, breaking hold of the whole dollar. But then after selling, because it wasn't immediate, it's like seeing the bid. I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it another shot again to get over the high of 25 and then 1650 at pre-market highs. But then it comes back down. And so it's going to try again here. 1550 is going to hold, and it's going to try again. I should have been a little bit more aggressive towards jumping in there. In fact, I don't see my mouse cursor. Maybe I was doing something else. Let's see. Where's my mouse cursor at the time? Okay, I was watching ESFH. Let's see. Did I trade that one there? I mean, I don't even know what was going on at this point. If my mouse cursor isn't on the active trader, then I'm not looking for and this one is highlighted here, AVTE. Anyhow, so I'm gonna come back to this AMIX here. We ended up having a new low below 1550. We started to base out around 1520s. And so it curled up over the level here of 50. And this is where I was looking for the dip off the highs. Right here, right here. So we had a high of what, 17? Let me go back a little bit. $17.07. We had 1707 for highs, and then a small baby pullback down to 65. And right here, I'm like, you know what? This thing is gonna go right into the halt up, right into 1736 with the next wave of green. I'm jumping in and looking for the continue to move up. Instead, I'm in. The moment I'm in at 60, and I got a decent fill actually on the bids. The moment I'm in, well, this thing is just titanicking, and I gotta cut this trade quickly. There's also a seller here at 620, 1620 of 14,000, and so it's like, yeah, gotta cut that trade. So that was like one of the other bigger losses that I had. Coming on to BFRI before I rage quitted. I got caught in a similar like trade for BFRI. So I was green 175, kind of just like small green here. And I think what got me a little frustrated too is that I kind of missed a trade in here. Let's see, like the 1 minute candle ended up making the new high. And it's the way how this stock moved. You know, it's like there's green printing, but like nothing happening, and it's a bit of a weirder stock. Now there's red, green, white. It's a little bit more mixed here. Red, green, green, red, white, red, green. So, you know, I wasn't super convinced to jump in for the 1 minute candle to make the new high. But then this ends up being a pretty strong move up. Right here, I believe I got a higher fill. Let's just double check that. It's like the moment I tried to go long, the spreads opened up there to the upside. Well, and you can see, actually, just looking back at it, actually, look at the volatility, right? We had 33, 34, and 38, 40. Like almost in, nobody can buy that quick unless your order is just sitting on the ladder. And sometimes you just got to be a little quick, right? You got to be quick. Did we just keep going? I can't even remember. 39, 40. You can see the tape on this one was just, the tape was a little tricky. So it seemed like we might have had a hidden buyer 38 here. We might have had a hidden buyer, but it did break below by 1 cent. So there's like some red hitting. It just was a little thick, really. Right? There's a little bit of red hitting 39. It's not really coming down. Okay, now there's a little bit of red hitting 38. It's only showing a few bidders, but we're not really breaking below the level. So I ended up buying. You can see that my order came right at 38. And remember, before this thing shows up on Thinkorswim, the orders, like I've already hit the hotkey, right? So really and truly, like even right here, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna jump in at this level with a really tight stop, and I still get a bit of a higher fill, which is just a little frustrating. So I'm in 38, 39. Instead, my order's floating, floating, floating. It turns out to be a scratch trade. The faster fill right there, I'm already out 30, 42, and that's a good trade, right? You can see the tape, man. The tape on this stock, just a mess. And so let's see how it looked before it took off right here. 40. And I guess I could have been a little bit more aggressive here. I think I could have been a little bit more aggressive here, like 42. So 38, there's a slower stream, and then it gets to 40, 42. Then we start to see the volume pick up a little more. So I would have needed to be a little bit more aggressive, maybe 42, 43 area to jump in. And then this thing just goes, goes, goes. So I'm just gonna right here. I'm basically just waiting for a dip. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait for a pullback of some sort to get in, and then look for the move back up. The high on the candle is about 48. We saw 46. Like, I'm gonna rewind here. Like, looking back at this, like, could I have jumped in at like 44 more aggressively? I'd say so. We didn't really come to those levels for much time, so I probably would have been filled 45. But it's like the move here was decent, but this is not the best move we've ever seen. Break of 50, I'm just not looking to buy the $half with how this thing has been moving. I could be in at 50, out at 45. So I'm still just waiting here. We get a higher hold, 47, 48. Perhaps maybe I could have been aggressive to jump in there. So when it came back down from 54, 55, right? I'm watching here, and it looks like we're going to retest 50 for a second. So 54, 47, and right here I jump back in 46, thinking, okay, we're holding 46 to jump to retest 50, 55. And it's just tanking. And right here I'm like, yep, that's it. I'm done. Done with the day. Done with the day. So green 86 to red 290. I don't know. I don't know why I had to, like, usually a loss like this. This is like a normal loss. I don't know why, like, I was bothered so much. Like, oh man, it's just so silly watching back at it. Like, PLBY, I was milking the 1 2 cent, milking, and then honestly, right here, I fell asleep a little bit, and I wasn't like giving the stock my full attention. So I missed this move from 22 up to 30. But I'm like, okay, fine. The stock has been aggressive. It's been strong. It gets to 40 within 1 minute, which is like really impressive. And our high of day is at 40, coming back to this level over here. I believe we tried a couple trades, 34, we're selling 36, 37. We're trying a couple trades here, making a little something. And then break of, so right here, I'm trying for the break of the level. I'm in, it doesn't quite show. So I'm going to try again. So there's a bid that comes in, and I'm like, okay, the stock has been so strong to this point. We just had a 1 minute pullback. I did take the trade at 34. I sold at 37. Okay, it came out a little early. But right here, everything was telling me, hey, this high of day trade is going to go to 45, perhaps 48. If we're really lucky, 50. If this thing ends up being supernova, 58. So what I didn't do, the only thing I think I could have done differently here was to make up my mind to buy bigger size faster, because the other order could have came out already. So I think I did buy a little slow here. And I think this is fair. So I did buy a little slow, but I made up my mind just a little too late to be ultra aggressive. Again, the stock was strong. We just had a beautiful pullback. We're at the high of day with the biggest bid we've seen all day. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna jump in. The bid is right behind me. Let's see this thing fly 45, and then maybe for good 50. So I'm in. And right here, I didn't panic, or I didn't think anything of it. Right now, sometimes there are going to be days where the stock just teleports up. The best days are the days where the stock just teleports to 58 or 55, 50, whatever. Because the bid is there, and we broke out over 40. Like, everything is looking good for me here. So I'm looking to see, can we continue? And remember, it's been the type of stock where we do see a lot of green, a lot of red, but it keeps going. So right here is where I start to say, okay, we have the big bid, and we're seeing 39. Like, once we get above 40, we shouldn't really have to dip. We should, in theory, hold. Even if we hesitate 42, 41, 43 area, that 3 cent range, we hold. Worst case, 40 holds. And then we see the second wave of green that pushes us through 45. Once I see 39, I'm like, nope, cutting the trade. But this was an aggressive position, and I know the risk. I know the risk. So as I stop out, it's back at 43. That order didn't necessarily move up, but again, after seeing the big bid again, it's just not ripping over 43. Like, what's going on right here? So on the second position, I got filled 45. Sadly, I got filled 45, which we did see 45 on the tape for a little bit. And this is the difference with trading, right? Let's say the stock had just moved there's a couple things. I could have been holding bigger size at 34 and just unwinding, or the breakout through 40 could have been a little bit better on the tape. So like right here, I'm thinking we can see it. I try, nothing quite happening. I'm gonna jump back in again. We can see like it's just fluctuating around the level. I'm gonna jump back in again, and at this point, we go from 40 to 45 so fast. The second order, as we saw, came at 43 area a little late, so rightfully so, I get the higher fill 45. It's fair play. But the goal here is to see this thing hold up right here, 41, 42, 43, and then keep ripping. So once I see that, like right here, I'm starting to see my sell signal. Like, we haven't broken below the bid, but again, this is usually like an instant move. So we're back out, we're keeping it tight, and it just didn't go. If we fast forward, it ended up pulling back from that level. It looked like it was selling off. Again, I've been avoiding like too much of the drawdowns on the move, so I didn't watch for this dip below 30. But that was pretty much the day. So we lost on BFRI. We gave back profits here. At this point, we were red 400, red like 390, 400. So after we gave back all the gains here, we're now back to red 1K. And then as you guys saw, BFRI kind of happened, right? We might have had like a smaller loss on something else. But from green 600 to red, we actually went red 200 and then red 290 on BFRI, and that was the day. A little disappointing, but some of it execution. AMRI, I think we could have done a better job if we're just locking in on that one stock and not trying to, be everywhere. There's that. There's also PLBY doing a better job. I think on some of the trades, like the pullback to 34, we did have bigger position set, but I think at one point we had sized down a little bit. But better execution in terms of decision making, I think, is the way to go. If I'm going to take that big position, we need to take it quick. We need to be in quick and make up our mind to be in that size quick, and not like a millisecond, half second later, like I did. So executing like that, of course, not to have a short of a fuse. That way, once BFRI keeps going all the way to $2 right here, I'm actually still trading and making money. Because that's how different the day could have went, right? Let's say the trade on PLBY actually goes up to 50, 55. I mean, with 16,000 shares, average of 42, if we're out of 50 or 55, I mean, we're probably agree. What was that? 10 cents would be 1,600, right? So if we're selling that up at like 50, 52, right away we're back green on the day. We're probably green on the day at that point, 1K. And then, we stick around with a longer fuse, BFRI. Even if we had churned a little bit, break of 2 was nice. That probably would have gotten us to plus like 500. And then just like that, another 2K day in the books. It's pretty subtle, the difference, right? There's a fine line, there's a tightrope walk. And so we got to be on our A game at all times. And something I forgot to do here. Oh my gosh. Do I save it for the next video? There's a couple things I forgot to mention. One, congratulations to the chat room and all the students who have done super well. If you're somebody who might have had a hard time on the month, do not be discouraged. The market is always going to be here for us. It's a matter of continuing to improve. and continuing to be better. All right, there's that, and then the prices for the course is going to go up, guys. So big shout out to the chat room today. I mean, just absolute huge shout out. We had so many traders absolutely crush the game here. And it's reminding me that I gotta also up my game, right? So we had so many people, students, chat room members, just absolutely kill it, man. MNQ, 6K. Cursey, 50K October. I mean, just absolute, just beastly stuff, man. We got process over profits here with small size proven concept. SF back from vacation, getting some green to end the month. Ken W, 8,400. That, well, we're focusing on monthly P&Ls here. Minty, absolute sea of green, 54K. And you know what? It's so insane. Minty and Dynasty are brothers, man, trading in the same room. Their office, they have the same office space. And these guys, you know, at this rate, it's like maybe they should have been quadruplets or something. Because, and Marcel was mentioning this, like, they needed more siblings. They needed more siblings because, you know, they could have been printing times 3, 4, 5, 6x. But nevertheless, you know, it's so amazing to see both of them trade so well, so consistently. And you can see that there's a high level of teamwork here, that both of them are studying together, trading together, working together, helping each other out, pushing each other, motivating each other. And you can see it in their performance. Both of them, sea of green, Minty, sea of green. So big shout out to those boys. Jorge had a bit of a rougher month, but Jorge has been doing well. You know, he's also a verified student here, but a bit of a rougher month. You know, myself, we'll talk about my chart as well when we get down there. I'm going to do a full monthly recap on the week over the weekend. So, you know, that'll be ready for Sunday. But guys, we're going to talk about where I can improve as well. Stealth, who was killing it up until the last 3 days. Stealth, what happened, brother? What happened? From about a 30K month, gave back a good chunk of it here. I love the consistency week 1 through week 3. What's this, week 3? But the last week 4, week 4.5, we had some trouble, the 29, 30, and saying no more pennies. You know, there needs to be some adjustments, right? Even because the penny stocks have opportunities. No matter how we twist it and turn it, like we saw Marcelo had a little bit of trouble with them as well. Myself, I had a little bit of trouble. No matter how we twist it and turn it, the penny stocks are good. We got to figure it out. There's no excuse, right? There's no excuse, man. We got to figure it out. Spartan, the first MMU student to ever buy the course, turning the corner in style. Turning the corner in style. Way to go, man. Way to go. This is absolutely impressive. Jackson, killing it on the month, 19,000. Another student getting it done. Gus, chat room member, $47,000 on the month. Beam, another student, also started off process over profits using just 10 shares, 1 shares, proving concept, starting out with small size and then sizing up over time. Beam, getting it done, $64,000 on the month. Save. And you know what's so impressive about Save, man? I'll keep saying this. Save the monster. 11 red days this month. And so literally in 10 days, right? Because if you look at his first 2 weeks, you know, his first 2 weeks, he's having some trouble. Started the month off red 30K. You know, as we know, Save is more of an aggressive trader. He takes bigger size, right? Team house member. If you look from the 14th, Save in just was 4 days this week here, and then full 5 days. That's 9. And then the last day, the 30th, in 10 days, this guy made 135 grand. Actually, more than that, because he was at a net negative here. This is absolutely insane. This is freaking this guy is a beast, man. Save, I mean, nothing but good things to say. And there's different ways to get it done. You see some guys who their monthly calendar is just all green days, and here's someone else who had a bit more red days, but still six-figure month. I mean, just absolutely insane. Lucas, another student, another six-figure month, man. This stuff is absolutely insane. You can see a lot of people the first 2 weeks kind of slower, but then week 3, week 4, we had that supernova momentum, man. Stocks going to $100 like the RUG. People locked in it. Momo Bro, way to go. Also small size, process over profits. Beautiful stuff here, especially the last 2 weeks. D Trades, killing it, man. 46,000. Again, the first 2 weeks a little slower. Week 3, week 4, and then week 5, massive green day on the 29th. A lot of people did well on the 29th, trading one of those penny stocks that came along. Myself, you guys will see here about 5 red days, 3, 4, 5 red days. Today was a red day. And for me, I was, this month was, I think, on par with February. For those of you who saw February or who was here to trade or watched on, that's what this month was. But for me, I could not capitalize. I think a lot of it was mindset. And we got to continue to work on being ultra aggressive, man, on letting loose, really putting out a lot of size, because they say scared money don't make no money. We got to well, let me not say that. We got to be aggressive, we got to be assertive, we got to be dominant, and we have to look to push forward, man. We had some decent days, but for sure on days like DRUG, the 29th, where we had that cheaper stock, right? DRUG, like days right here, 14, 15, 16, 17th, these are all days to be plus 5K, 10K. Even the 21st to about the 24th, I believe, all days to be hot day, all days to be up big green. And so we got some work to do here. And, I do have to be more aggressive. It's a fumbled one for me. I do appreciate the green. It's better to be green than red or have nothing. But there's definitely much more that we left out there. So Marcelo, the other mentor here in the community, you can see also just a few red days, and absolutely smoking the month, 88,000. And let's not forget his DJT swing trade, which is also 66K. So if he needs to add that up, he's at 154K on the month. Absolute monster, absolute beast. North, we don't have a tally, but looks pretty good. Mostly green. Let's see, 500. What's that? No, 250. Is that 500? 500, 100, 2,500. So, I'm guessing well over 10K here for North. Way to go. Nicely done. Zay, process over profits. Shout out to Zay. Process over profits, man. Way to go. Way to go. Way to go. I mean, just absolutely insane. Jay had a nice month as well. Plus $50. Small size. Proven concept. Way to go. Glumford, 61,000 on the month. There is no other chat room that has this many profitable traders. What it tells you is that our system works. It works well. It shows you that we're ultimate transparent traders. We're not hiding anything. If we were hiding things, nobody would be able to do what we're doing. But because we're so transparent, and this is as a result of this, it continues to tell us that the value in what we provide is higher than ever before. And as a direct result, the prices of the course will be going up. So if you're watching the video to this point, this is your chance to jump in and utilize the coupon code COACH and receive a 40% off discount and get involved today, because the prices are going up and the prices are going up. So be sure to jump involved and get involved. This is the beauty of being the first supporters, the first people here. This is what it's all about, man. Enzo, another guy, process over profits, 3K. Bro, Enzo is going to destroy the markets, man. I can already see this number becoming 30K pretty soon once he starts to size up some more. Geo, nicely done. Way to go. Nicely done. The first 2 weeks, which actually a lot of people had trouble, did very well. And I actually remember our conversation. You did say as the momentum picked up and got volatile, you had a little bit of issue. But way to go overall. Nicely done. 900 bucks. Taking it slow with a small size. Nick, 21K on the month. And Nick had a bit of a tough week. Red 5 for 5 on week 4, but still pulled off a massive 20K month. So again, guys, we're seeing different, kind of numbers and all green, some red. I'm pretty sure he's gonna look to improve and get better so that he doesn't repeat this in the next hot cycle. But still walking away 21,000, man, absolutely insane. Oliver, another student, up 21K today. I mean, it's just insane. The numbers it just goes on and on and on and on and on. 6.9 here for Dennis. If this is not proof for you to join and I understand if there's casual people watching on to this point, you might be saying to yourself like, there's no way this is real. All these people are trading in simulators. Even if they are green like this month, they're gonna give it all back next month. You're probably thinking, this is not real. It's fake. What I'll say to that is whoever knows. And if you're in this community, you know what's going on. If you're somebody who's on the fence or you just don't care enough to investigate us, research us, that's fine. Like not everybody need, we don't care if every single body in the world knows what we're doing here and how to trade. That's the reality of this. Like I have this course here. I'm not here every day in people's faces. Hey, buy course, buy course, buy course, buy course. It's like it's there for whoever wants it, right? It's all. Is it a business opportunity? Yes, but it's also our way of giving back. We're so transparent, and again, for what the course price is, we're undercutting ourselves, we're robbing ourselves, we're shooting ourselves in the foot because of how valuable our program and our curriculum is, which is why the price is going to continue to go up over time, right? So if you're someone on the sidelines just saying these guys, they're not really doing it for real, that's fine. You don't need to believe us. We're not here to strap someone up to a table and force them into thinking, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're already transparent enough. There's nobody who's watching us regularly should have any doubts that a guy like Tim just made 137,000 in a month. Someone's salary at a good position somewhere, at some job. Maybe doing sales, maybe in the medical field, maybe in software, hardware engineering, maybe an architect. Whoever watches this video to this point and think that this stuff is fake, I mean, that's all right, bro. We know what's going on, and that's all that matters. Big Steve, 18K, getting it done. ZH, 96 bucks, proven concept with a small size, getting it done. And I think, and Marcelo here was talking about the chat room up $1 million today. Well, not today, but on the month in total. Remember, and in fact, if we were to zoom in right here on these two heavy hitters, some people are a lot more private, right? We have a chat that's separate from like on the Discord for like the team house members, and these guys shared what they made, and Crispy shared, especially Crispy. I'm not gonna put his business out there. He's a private guy. His YouTube channel, he doesn't post on there anymore, but hefty gains, brother. Jimmy B, also someone who's been working very hard, putting in a lot of time. I can't wait to see him go live. We already spoke about toning it down in the size category a little bit. Once he proves the concept over and over to himself for the next few months in the live account. Man, he's in the sim right now. Jimmy is in the sim right now. And we're transparent. Like, we don't have anything to hide. Like, like there's no hiding anything. He's saying he's in the paper money, trading in the sim. I think he missed a day this week due to like family emergency. But people are transparent. Like no one is hiding if they're trading with small size or in a simulator because they understand that we did the same thing in the beginning of our journey. I want to thank everyone here, the MMU mentors, Tim, Tom, Marcelo, RT, the chapters, right? We are the most transparent and real community in the world. We are the best community in the world. We're number one. We're better than every other community out there. And you're seeing for yourself why. You're seeing for yourself exactly why we are who we are. We are relentless. We're going to keep learning. We're going to keep growing. We're going to keep studying. We're going to keep improving. And we're going to dominate. We're going to fly high. We're going to soar. And we're going to places where only a few have went before. All right. So on that high note right there, this is where I'm going to end this recap. It's a longer one, but hopefully you guys enjoy it. We're going to end it off here, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow bright and early at 9, what's that, 9 a.m., 8:50 a.m. pre-market time, 8:50 a.m. I mean, just absolute insane stuff here in the chat, man. Just way to go. Congratulations to the team. Let's keep striving for greatness. Let's keep pushing forward. Let's keep being better. And let's do what needs to be done to ensure success.